Hello everybody, this is Dr. Dirt at Blue Star Aquaculture. I've been in New Zealand for a week now. Now look at this beautiful countryside. We just had a rain. It's been a little dry here, so we needed some rain. So it's still a little cloudy. As you can see, the mist is in the mountains. But look at this beautiful countryside here. Isn't this amazing? It's incredible mountains here. I'll have to come back on a sunny day and get a sunny picture, but it's just so gorgeous. And here we are with my friend John at his farm here. It's just spring, late spring here now in New Zealand. As it's getting colder and colder where I'm from, Massachusetts, Virginia are starting to have to wear heavy coats, but here it's getting warmer and warmer, and I wanted to talk about the soil here in New Zealand. We have heavy clay soil here. It's very, very difficult to farm here. As I found in Massachusetts, and a lot of this soil, they've added a little bit of manure and they're trying to build it up, but it's a slow process. And every day the soil heats up. And if it doesn't get watered, it gets very, very dry. And I'm talking dry like in these raised beds, the soil gets dry like a foot deep. And it's also very crumbly right now. They have gotten a different kind of tilth to the soil. I'm still not exactly sure what's going on with this soil yet, so I'm going to withhold judgment for a little bit longer. But we have planted a cover crop of mustard seed in these beds. Now I found a little bit of straw to cover this bed with. I always like to put a little straw down. I found some straw laying down, even made some of my own out of some grasses. Got most of the seed heads off so we don't get any weeds in here. Now I'm waiting for these little mustard seeds to sprout. As you can see, if I look really closely in here, I've got a pretty good stand of mustard. I was trying to be careful not to get it too thick. And you can see the little seeds in here if I do a close-up. There are a couple of seeds in here. But these raised beds, we're going to plant mustard, probably 2 crops of mustard, and then turn it under. And in the fall, which is our spring, we're going to plant garlic. Down below, John has about 20 beds of garlic, about this long. So we're going to expand. We're going to have a lot of extra garlic seeds, so we're going to expand the garlic crop up here. And we're hoping that we can get this soil ready so we can get a good garlic crop. So that's what we're doing here. There's some onions planted in this bed. And here, this bed along here, I don't know what's going to go into this bed. This bed just has some straw and things in it. Now here we have some tomatoes. Now the farm manager here, Mark, has done a beautiful job of planting these tomatoes and tying them up. As you can see, he has one whole bed of tomatoes finished. Now they have a little bit of a blight problem here also in New Zealand. And I don't know what we can do. I don't know if neem, spraying with neem is also supposedly good for some blight, and of course you can brush your teeth with neem. It's a very, very benign. It's a plant from India. It's a tree from India, and they extract the oils, and it can be used for a lot of agricultural purposes, and also works for fungus in the human body also. So it's a very safe product to use. And here he has also these tomatoes. Got some really tiny little plants. We're a little late this year in New Zealand to be putting these tomatoes in, but we'll be getting a good crop just about the time I leave. I'll be here till February, and that's when the tomatoes will just be coming out. So unfortunately, I'll probably miss these tomatoes this year, but it'll be interesting to watch them grow. And these are already blooming here. We have some blooms on these tomatoes, as you can see. And here's some tomatoes ready to go on the ground. Now in these beds here, we have currants. As you can see, all the way up the hill, there's a whole bunch of beds going up with currants. And also here, all planted in clay soil. The thing about this soil is it needs watering. For my seed bed, I feel like I need to water twice a day. And of course we just had a really good hard rain, so I didn't have to come up here and water. But this soil does not hold much moisture. gets very dry, very deep. And we have to work on that. Now these beds will soon be hopefully covered with some kind of straw or mulch. And as you can see, the currants, we're getting a pretty nice little crop of currants here. Of course, these currant bushes should grow taller than I am. They should be quite large bushes, and they'll be very thick in here. Those might even be planted a little too close together. It depends on how big they get here in New Zealand. I know in upstate New York, these currant bushes get quite large. And here we have more currants. Now here we have the strawberries. And these are all planted in a little strawberry house, which is quite an elaborate structure. But this keeps the birds out. And as you see, looking through the screen here, there's some nice ripe red strawberries just getting ready to eat. And I had two of these strawberries already, and I have to say they are very sweet. I just gave them a little seaweed yesterday, give them a little boost and help the sweetness of the fruit. So we'll see how that seaweed helps these strawberries grow. And here we have some more beds of mostly currants up through here. And here we have the raspberries. We have 2 rows of raspberries going on all the way up the hill. Beautifully planted. These raspberries look like they're very happy and pretty well mulched, which is nice. We could use a little more mulch on these raspberries too. And here we have some goji berries that we're going to be putting in soon. These have been in pots for a couple of years, and the farm manager Mark has gotten these goji berries growing, and they look like they're ready to get in the ground. We have some other priority things to plant first, but hopefully these gojis will get in the ground soon, because I'd like to see what these goji berries taste like. Actually, my friend John gets his goji berries now from Tibet, so we have some in the house, the dried ones, but I'd like to see what they're like fresh. So we have quite an operation going up here, and this beautiful, beautiful country of New Zealand. As we go out the gate here, we have some more bushes. I believe these are some gooseberries. And you see these beautiful rows of beds here. And these are in raised bed boxes and mulched very well. So these should be very happy and grow very well. And we have a peach tree here. And there's so many exotic fruits here. We don't have any kiwis on this farm. It's funny, I come to New Zealand, but maybe we'll plant a few just to have them. And we have a lot of fruit trees and a lot of fruit growing. And down below we have vegetables. I'll get to that later. But I wanted to come up here and just show you the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trees, different kinds of trees. I don't know the names of most of these trees. Although many of them are not native. New Zealand is a little bit abused agriculturally. It's some people call it a poison or chemical paradise, because they have whole hillsides where they planted pine trees and they just kill the pines and they throw down a bunch of herbicides and replant. And I think you can get 3 stands of pine trees off these hills, and there's acres and acres you drive by of just devastated land. And I presume after that it's agriculturally impossible to do anything with that land after that, so then they build houses on that land. So people live on that land that's been abused. It's a shame, and this has happened all over the world, but hopefully we can change all that. We have to, because I think we won't be allowed to do this kind of agriculture we've been doing. And possibly the reason might be because we just can't afford the petroleum to do it. There's a ginkgo tree. I don't know if that's a male or female. It's a young one. Maybe we'll get some ginkgo berries when it gets a little older. As you can see, that's a monocot leaf. Ginkgo is one of the ancient trees. It's a prehistoric tree. It's one of the oldest trees we have. There's a eucalyptus tree down the hill. And as you can see in the wildlife, well, I say this is foxglove. This is obviously introduced. But these foxgloves grow wild in this country. And bracken ferns are here. I don't know if they're native or if they were imported. But many of these trees look very exotic to me. So here we are on the road, and there's the forest, and there's a creek beyond there. And I wanted to give you guys a look at New Zealand, and I'll be doing some more videos from here. And this is Dr. Dirt, over and out.